Hey everybody, my name is Angie Murenga. You're watching Just Angie. It's another Mwenyenchi Monday. We've done 2 videos on the state of the youth, this amazing project and report by JIACTIVATE. And now today we're going to talk about what's actually in the report and what the recommendations were and what we can actually get done practically. But we say kudos even to getting this done. I think this is absolutely beautiful. I think it's amazing, and it's Mwenyenchi Monday, so we discuss all things governance. So we're discussing governance and the youth. So Rashid, first of all, is this document available to everybody?
Yes, indeed it is. If you want to get this document, you can go to JIACTIVATE.org, and in one of the drop-down menus, you can download the entire full document. It's open to everyone.
For sure, technology. Makofi and technology. Now JIACTIVATE, lazima you are young, definitely. You have proved that. Because now you realize how people they start telling us about hard copies. Now JIACTIVATE, you better spell it. You know, you can spell it G-I.
JIACTIVATE is J-I-J-I-Activate. JIACTIVATE.org.
Yeah, I love it. So what are some of the recommendations in this report?
We have quite a number of recommendations, and they're broken down to the 4 different categories we're talking about, which is food insecurity, corruption, unemployment, and healthcare. But I'd like to highlight just a couple that really just stood out and cut across. Number 1 is the aspect of private and public partnership. And what we notice at JIACTIVATE, and even as the young people we talk to, is sometimes the government may not have all the answers or the resources to actually mitigate some of these things or issues that we're talking about. And so it's the space of the private sector to just come in and work collaboratively with the government in order to actually sort of reach these milestones. And also working with the private sector ensures the whole aspect of sustainability, which is a huge problem that we have. And we don't want that if this first regime of government comes in and then it leaves, then the other one wants to completely change everything. And so just the whole aspect of sustainability is sort of found in that. Number 2 is the whole aspect of really talking about the informal sector. And we have a lot of youth who are not getting jobs in the formal sector, so they're jumping into the informal sector. And so we really need to continue pumping in resources in that sector. And I think as we've gone into devolution, also the devolved structure of governments really now need to take that up. As Nairobi County, let's see how we are empowering young people in the informal sector. As Nakuru, as Kiambu, Kirinyaga, you know, as the county specific, how are we empowering young people in this informal sector? And you'd get to see that the young people who are doing agriculture, the young people who are into sort of keeping cattle, the young people who are into metalwork.
I found some farmers. I was very shocked. You know, you guys are going into farming in quite a big way, and and using technology, you know, and really being ahead of the game and daring. I mean, even the idea they were telling me they have an order in some French supermarket. I was like, hey, you guys are, you know, try stepping out. You know, guys, we were for being careful.
Which is really interesting, because one of the things I read here is how high betting scores when it comes to source of income for young people. No, it's true. It's research.
But I hope you're trying to talk to them. It's research, but are you trying to talk to them and to address the issue of betting?
I mean,
it's not going to solve anything.
For sure, what we've recognized is because we've not been able to recognize some of these spaces that young people are getting this income, especially the informal sector. Then they now turn into something else that they see is lucrative. But then, you know,
because they want to make money and make money,
but then betting ni leo tu, alafu kesho inakuruka, as we say, kesho inachomeka, and then ina come through. So it's really just, if we're able to sort of introduce another platform that shows more better prospects than betting, then we will be able to capture young people.
And long-term in the future as well.
And a long-term thing,
So what was your recommendation for betting now that Maxi has brought it up?
Well, we did not really dive into it as much,
but it's a problem
it's
that was there.
Something that we're doing at the moment is around just the whole aspect of betting.
So the number 2 thing was the informal being able to invest in the informal sector and creating something that, because that's where the youth are. And create something that's sustainable.
Yes. Oh yes, And then finally, the final recommendation that stands out is youth inclusion.
Yes.
The space of young people in providing the solutions. It's the space of young people in bringing in the innovations. And then one thing that we sort of champion as JIACTIVATE is not innovations but disruptions. Because innovations is taking something that's already happening and then making it better. But for us, we want to disrupt the whole system. Like bring in an entirely new thing that just sort of redefines how everything has been done. So youth inclusion in all the solutions that have been taken.
Amen. You know, I'm smiling at you because I have hope now. You know, they always say my heart is full. I have hope, and I know that we're getting somewhere. I can't wait to read through all of this. I know I've read some of it, but I really want to get into it because it's going to bring out even the problems that we need to address. The issues, the conversations that even we need to have. And what would the two of you like to jump in and say?
You know, for me, this report is sort of like deja vu for me.
I know.
10 years ago, we did an exercise mirroring the Vision 2030. It was called the Youth Scenarios, Kenya Youth Scenarios, and to see some of the things that we had created as scenarios play out. I remember back then it was so funny to say that we would have some people as governors, and now they are. They actually are. They actually are. So when we were doing the review, it was very funny. It was funny, but then it also lit up the element of actually had something valuable back then
to say that has actually become a reality.
Exactly, that has become a reality, and which just takes me back to think how much more would we get if we really invested in young people the way we should? Because that kind of insight back then and seeing this now that is being done by a totally different group, totally different era, is just amazing, and it speaks to just the gap in investing in young people. And I always say that young people, their age is their currency, you know, and if we, you know, currency can be devalued because of inflation, and it can also be strengthened. So it is up to us to choose how are we going to use that currency.
Wow, that's amazing. That's powerful.
For me, I'm encouraged. I sit encouraged in two regards. One, that I think more clearly now I know that for sure God has set his eye on this generation. 20 years ago, when I used to say that, you know, it's time or time, and still do say it's time or time till now, I'm encouraged. I'm encouraged that that I have worked with young people, and I feel, you know, when I hear him, when I hear Mutua, and I just see their journeys, I feel very, very fulfilled, and I'm sure so do you. You know,
I'm beaming.
I'm beaming
inside. You know, I am just
your heart feels
beaming.
You know,
it's like that. You know, Isaiah 61 that says that you look and you see your sons coming, your sons and daughters coming from afar, and there's so much joy in my heart. There is hope. There is hope. The generation is here. We can hand over. We even have a report. You know, we can even hand over we can. You know, because our greatest thing is we want to hand over the nation to intact to another generation, and we want to feel that you can carry that generation. And sometimes we don't listen to your ideas, but this is a very all-inclusive way that these are facts, these are data. You know, the other thing we don't have a lot is data or supporting evidence, but here we do now. Here we have the supporting facts, we have the supporting numbers, we have the recommendations. I mean, we have direction. This is so strategic and so key, and I'm so grateful for the money as well, and for the people who are behind, like organizations like yours and others who are ready to fund this. You know, this is just absolutely amazing for me. And you know, we're just talking about how many generations? Yeah, there are four generations. Me, I'm 50 and over. I'm actually 52.
Almost 40.
Almost 40.
Almost 30.
Almost 30.
Early 20s.
Very early. But this very early 20s. But this is amazing. This is amazing that we can even have this conversation, and I really want to even engage further. So I want everybody to give their closing remark on all things governance, on what you feel about this project, and just speak to the nation.
Oh, wow. For me, I'll just reiterate what I just said earlier. invest in your young people. The greatest tool that they have is their mind, and you want to ensure that they are kept, their minds are kept very viable. And it just doesn't mean that it's education or school. Find things that will engage them and engage them positively. You will be very, very, very happy when you eventually see the fruit of your investment. So invest in your young people and invest in their minds.
Awesome. Rashid?
Great. I think my closing remarks are two. One, to pay bills. As JIACTIVATE, we continue to really just provide solutions for the future with the current audience and learning from the past audience. So it's really an intergenerational dialogue that we are having, and we're hoping to continue having it in the future. And then my personal closing remark is, I think it's about time that us as young people realize that whatever space we're in, we can effect change. And one person I learned that from is Nelson Mandela, who refused to leave prison for 20-something years, 27 years until his country was set free. And so just one person was able to effect change, and us as young people, we are in that position to actually do that. And so really activate the power within you to effect change in your community, in your family, in your county, and in general in the whole country.
Excellent.
Fantastic. I encourage adult-youth partnerships. I encourage young people to work with the ones who've gone ahead, and the ones who've gone ahead to work with the ones who are young. If we connect that properly, and if we have that sort of open engagement and open relationship at all meaningful levels possible, I think we have the magic bullet. We have the magic solution. On one end, we have experience. On the other and we have energy and ideas and you know, all this passion that comes together, and I think a fuse of both will really bring us as a community, as a county, and as a country, and even as a continent to the place that you're supposed to be.
Excellent. For me, definitely the fact that this is replicable, and I've always talked about, even through the PLF manual, you'll see that I've always wanted and challenged people to have replicable solutions. So the fact that the Nigerians are calling means that this is something that can be, and I've always said that whatever works in Kenya, we can replicate it across the continent, or even if it works in another country within the African continent, then we can replicate it across and change the narrative. And then I love the fact of JIACTIVATE, you know, that there's an onus on you. This is about governance. So governance is all about being able to govern self and govern others. So the onus is on you to JIACTIVATE. You activate yourself. You step into the platforms. Even if people try to dismiss you, you walk through doors boldly. Look at him. People gave him a chance, and he's really done a good job. And I think I also want to challenge people out there, give the young people a chance. Give them a voice, listen to them, and let them do it their way. I was just thinking, we're a Nehemiah people, and I think we feel we're in a Nehemiah season where everybody has to rebuild, and we're rebuilding the nation, but everybody is rebuilding where they are, you know, where they are in their section. So they also have a contributing factor, because they're rebuilding their nation as the youth of the nation moving forward, and therefore we have to give them that opportunity. And then I was just thinking in closing that there's so many ways. If I have a destination to get to, there's so many ways I can get to that destination, and therefore we have to allow them to reach the destination the way they know best how to do it. I really applaud the technology as well, extremely applaud the technology, because we need that, and that means it's practical. The whole world can reach it. You know, it's a global village. Everybody can access it, and really well done for JIACTIVATE. Well done for your leadership. I really celebrate you, Rashid. That's really amazing. You've done really, really well, and we'll definitely have you back, because now you told me you have to bring your ninjas. The squad. The squad must land, and there must be a lady in that squad.
There are many.
They are women. I want to really now talk to you guys. In fact, these two guys now that they've introduced you. Now we need I need to talk to the squad. I need to talk to the real players. So this has been Mwenyenchi Monday. It's been amazing talking about the state of the youth, and done by JIACTIVATE, and we're really encouraged. I hope you are too. God bless you. Do your part wherever you are. Bye.
Bye.
Cheers.